All right, let's talk about absolute value. Okay, now absolute value is simply, in fact, the best way to understand this is just know that it must be positive. Okay, so we define absolute value of x is equal to it is equal to x. Okay, is x if that x is positive. I thought that greater than 0 means positive. Then it is 0 if x is 0. It is minus x if x is negative. So you see that this thing now that you are seeing here makes it that absolute value must be positive. Absolute value must be positive. Look at the meaning. That the absolute value of, okay, let's take some question. Example. Okay, they say number one, absolute value of 5. They say that okay, it's positive, so the absolute value of 5 is just what? 5. Watch you. I absolute value of minus 4. Watch. Now they say that if it is negative, that the absolute value of this is negative when it is what? Negative. Since it's negative, it must be negative of that minus 4, because they say that the absolute value will be negative when that number is what? Less than 0. So this and this will make it what? 4. So it means absolute value means it must be positive. That's just the meaning. Absolute value means what? That it must be positive. So if I have absolute value of 3 minus 8, for instance, is equal to the absolute value of minus 5, which is what? Minus 5, which is 5. As simple as that. Absolute value of 5 minus 2, is equal to the absolute value of what? 3, which is 3. So that is that. So another thing you need to know is that the absolute value of, if the absolute value of x is less than a, okay, it means that what? That minus x, to remove the absolute value, just put negative of this thing, minus a, use the same sign, is less than that x, which is less than a. That is just how to solve absolute value. So let's solve some questions so you will get what I mean by that. Look at that. So number one said the absolute value of x is less than 10. So what do you do to solve this? You say that what? Minus 10, negative of this, minus 10 is what? Is less than the same sign, less than x, which is less than 10. That is how to solve it. Okay, so bring this one out. You have that minus 10 is less than x, which means that x, arrow is pointing minus 10, so arrow should point that minus 10. Bring this one out, that x is what? Is less than 10. So if you want to draw it, you have a 0, this is 10, and this is minus 10. So this is my arrow here, is going this way, and this is for 10, and is going this way. So that is that. So let's solve more questions on that. So absolute value means it must be positive. If it's positive, it's positive. If it's negative, it will be positive as well. So absolute value of 2x is less than or equal to 8. So what do? Start from here. Minus 8 is less than or equal to what? That's 2x, which is less than or equal to what? 8. That's how to remove absolute value. Take the negative or whatever you are seeing here. So what do we do now? Bring out this side. Minus 8 is less than or equal to what? 2x. Bring out this side. 2x is less than or equal to 8. So divide everybody by 2. Minus 8 divided by 2 is less than or equal to 2x divided by 2. So 2x over 2 is less than or equal to 8 over 2. So what are you having here? That minus 4 is less than or equal to what? X. Or x is less than or equal to 4. So the arrow is pointing minus 4. So write x first. X. Arrow is pointing the minus 4. And x, this one like this 4. So to draw, this is your 0. This is your 4 and right hand side, and minus 4 is the left hand side. So I'm having minus 4 to be shaded because of the equal to, and it's moving this way according to my arrow. This one shaded 2, moving this way according to my arrow. So that is the graphical representation. So let's solve another one. This one said absolute value of x minus 3 is less than 6. So what do you say? Minus 6 is less than x minus 3. less than 6. That's how to remove absolute value. Bring out this side, solve it. Bring out this side, solve it. So minus 6 is less than x minus 3. Bring out that side. And x minus 3 is less than 6. So take this to this side. Minus 6 minus 3 is less than x. X is less than 6 plus 3. So minus 9 is less than x. And x is less than 9. So write x first. The arrow is pointing the minus 9. So it should be pointing the minus 9. And x 9. So I'm having my 0. Here is minus 9. And here is 9. So this is not shaded. Moving this way. This is not shaded. Moving this way. So that is that. Okay. The next one. Oh, sorry, there is a mistake here. This is minus 3, moving here to be plus 3, sorry. So I'm having here to be minus this plus this is 3. Is minus 3, sorry. Please be guided with collection of like terms. Okay. So now the next question said, let me say number 3. The next question said, what are the possible signs of the numbers a and b if ab is greater than 0, ab is less than 0, a over b is greater than 0. Let me put iv, a over b is less than 0. Okay. So let's answer that question. Let's answer that question. The first one said that what? AB is greater than 0. Now, greater than 0 means it is positive. Okay? So for the product of two things to be positive, it means that either the first one is positive. In fact, there must be of two signs. The sign must be the same. For the product of two things to be positive, the sign must be the same. So A is positive and B is positive. Or A is negative and B is negative. Yes, that is the only thing that will make their sign to be the same thing. Okay? To be positive. If the product of two of them is positive, multiply two things, you are getting a positive answer. It means that the sign of two of them must be the same thing. Because plus plus is plus. We know that plus plus is giving me plus. Minus minus is giving me plus. So whenever the sign are the same thing, the answer must be a positive number. So the product of two things being positive, I know that greater than 0 means positive. It means that the sign are the same thing. So it means that it's either the both of them are greater than 0 or the both of them are less than 0. Okay, that is for I. For I. Now, they say that AB is less than 0. Less than 0 means negative. Don't forget this. That plus minus is what? Minus. Minus plus is what? Minus. So, what can make them to give me a negative answer means that their sign are not the same. It means that if A is greater than 0 here, that B must be less than 0. Or we have that what? That B is the one that A is less than 0, then B will be greater than 0. So their sign will not be the same thing. Their sign will not be the same thing. That is the only thing. So that is the only thing that will make them to be like that. Okay? Then for division is the same thing is applicable. That if A divided by B is less than, okay, is greater than 0. Is that the next one? Okay, is greater than 0. So what can make this to be greater than 0 is that both of them is of the same sign, the same thing. That A must be greater than 0 and B must be greater than 0. Or A must be less than 0 and B must be less than 0. So IV, the same thing is applicable. If A over B is a negative number, it means that the sign must not be the same thing. So A must be greater than 0 and B will not be less than 0, or A will be less than 0 and B to be greater than 0. So that is that. Okay, so this will help us to solve some questions. Let's solve some questions to illustrate what we are doing. So the question here, number one said that x minus 3 and x plus 2 is greater than 0. Now, greater than 0 means that they are positive. Okay, so the first condition is that x minus 3, which is the first one, is greater than 0, and this is the first condition, case 1. Okay, x plus 2 is greater than 0. The both of them are greater than 0. That is why, in fact, the sign will be the same thing. The first one will be positive and the second one will be positive. Okay, this is case 1, which shows that x, this one moving here, x is greater than 3, or x is greater than minus 2. If you want to represent it, then case 2 is either that both of them are negative. So I'm having x minus 3 is negative, or x plus 2 is negative. So what do we have now? X is less than 3, or x is less than minus 2. Okay, so but let us check the one that is true. If I say that x is greater than 3 and the same x is greater than minus 2, is that a good statement? Yes. Anything that is greater than 3 is equally greater than minus 2. But if we say that x is less than 3 and that x is still less than 2, is it correct? Yes, it's correct. Anything that is do I say is correct in a way? Anything that is less than 3 can equally be greater than minus 2. And that same thing can equally be less than this. So I think is true. So these are the two cases we are going to have here. If I say that x is greater than 3, so like 4, is 4 greater than minus 2? Yes, it's correct. So you have to analyze it yourself to know what to do. Okay, so the next one said the same question now. The next one said that x minus 3 and x plus 2 are now negative. Less than 0 means that they are negative. Now look at case 1. Case 1 shows that the first one, x minus 3, can be greater than 0, and then x plus 2 will be less than 0, because their sign must not be the same. That is what will give you negative. So can this one move here? X is greater than 3 and the same x is less than minus 2. That's for case 1. For case 2, x minus 3 will not be less than 0 and x plus 2 will be greater than 0. So let's check this one. X is less than 3 and x is greater than minus 2. So let us analyze it to know if both of them are true. Now, x is greater than 3. Choose a number that is greater than 3. So for example, 4. And is 4 less than minus 2? No. So this one is wrong. But look at this now. X is less than 3. For example, 2 is less than 3. Is the same to greater than minus 2? Yes. So therefore, the answer here is what? X is less than 3 and x is greater than minus 2. So this is the only answer here. Okay? So let's go to the next question. The next one said that x bracket 3x minus 5 is less than 8x plus 10. Okay, so in this case, you will not know what to do until you make the right hand side 0. So let us clear. This time I'm having 3x squared. This time I'm having minus 5x. This one coming here, I'm having minus 8x. This one coming here, I'm having minus 10. Is less than 0. So what am I having now? 3x squared. This and this will give me minus 13x. Okay, minus 10 is less than 0. So let's factorize this. I'm going to have 3x squared minus 10x minus 3x minus 10 is less than 0. So I'm having x here. X bracket 3x minus 10. 3x minus 10 minus 3. Am I correct? Is that correct? No, that's not correct. $13. No, that's not correct, please. Sorry. So what are the two things to use to do this? Is minus 10 minus 30x squared. So let me check. Okay, 15 and 3. Okay, it's 15 and 3. So I'm going to have 3x squared. Okay, 15 and 2. 3x squared minus 15x minus 2x minus 10 is less than 0. Correct. So I'm having 3x outside, x minus 5, x minus 5, and is less than 0. Okay, so what do we have now? So I'm going to have okay, so minus 2 outside here. What? No, this is plus. So I'm having plus 2 here. So let's check if it's correct. This time this is this hand. So I'm having what? 3x plus 2 and x minus 5 is less than 0. So sorry, this what I did here is just normal factorization method of quadratic equation. So if you don't understand, go back to my video on quadratic equation. Okay, so now this is where the analysis starts from, where you have case 1 and case 2. Okay, so for case 1, let me write it here. For case 1, since they say the product of these two things is less than 0, less than 0 means it is negative. It means that their sign will not be the same. So the first case is that 3x plus 2 will be positive and x minus 5 will be negative. Or the second case, okay, which shows that 3x is greater than minus 2 and x is greater than minus 2 over 3. Or we have let me say or here we have that x is less than 5. So the second case, case 2, is that 3x plus 2 will be the negative one and x minus 5 will be the positive one. So I'm having that 3x is less than what? Minus 2, and x is less than minus 2 over 3, or x is greater than what? 5. So analyze it. This thing is greater than minus 2 over 3, and it is less than 5. Is it correct? Yes. I can say that if it's greater than minus 2 over 3, that it is 0, and 0 is still less than 5. So this is correct. So but let's check here. We say that x is less than minus 2 over 3. So which means it can be 1. It can be minus 1. And minus 1 can never be greater than this. So case 1 is the correct answer. This is not the answer. Case 1 is the correct answer. Okay? So let's solve more questions for you to understand very well. So you want to analyze it by yourself so that you can get it properly. Okay, so the next one said x plus 3 all over 3 minus 2x is less than 4. As for me, what I'm going to do here is okay, what I'm going to do here is okay, either in this case, either the denominator, either the denominator, which is 3 minus 2x is positive, or we say that x plus 3 is less than 4 bracket cross multiply 3 minus 2x. Okay, so this is how to arrange this one. Or you say that it's positive. Okay, so let's solve this and see what we're going to have. We're going to have that 3 minus 2x is greater than 0. So 3 is greater than 2x. So 3 over 2 is greater than x. So x facing this way, 3 over 2. Or let's do this. X plus 2 plus 3 is less than 12 minus 8x. So this one coming, I'm having x plus 8x is less than 12 minus 3. So 9x is less than 9. So x is less than 1. Okay? So this is the answer, or we say that x is greater than 3 over 2, or x is greater than 1. So any of the two is the solution to that. So do we have any other one? Okay, so thank you very much for watching. In our next video, we'll talk about linear programming, or inequalities that contain x and y. That's simultaneous inequality.